Alrighty, so now before I introduce the next project, I'd like to review a few things, because what I'm about to show you might be a little bit overwhelming. So we started our projects out with doing something very simple, like a handmade cup. And the whole point of this was to build a relationship with the clay and just feel it and how it works, right? From there, we added stuff to it, handles, decorations, whatnot, and just continued to build our craftsmanship. From there, we even went a little bit larger and made piggy banks and whatnot. So it was becoming more and more complex and a little bit more impressive. From there, we made candle holders, and that introduced a different kind of construction, whereas before, these were all just hand-built, just working with our hands. This actually used some tools to lay it out. Remember the sticks and the rolling pins, and we had a little bit more precision in our work. Okay, so from there, we started making slabs. And in fact, as I said when I was making the tutorial, you'd probably be more successful than this than what you might think. Here's a nice student example right here. And here's another one. Oftentimes when the kids get a chance to just do something on their own, they'll end up just carving a slab, because it's really nice to do. But from there, we made a cup. Nice big old mug, right? Not as big as what you thought at first, because the clay shrinks quite a bit, but you're getting to know a lot about the clay now. And you'll see that it basically used the construction of this, the understandings of these, and the techniques for these, putting those all together to make a nice finished project. But we're going to take it even further than this. So this was with slab construction. In this next project, I'm going to introduce coil construction. Coil construction is an extremely powerful form of construction, and you can do very large and nice things. So here's just a little vase that I made, and this is what you'll start with, is something this size. Now don't worry, you're going to have a lot of help along the way to make it, and I'm going to introduce you to some new tools to help that move along for you. From here, you could go one of two ways. Either you could move on to composite construction, yet another construction technique, and those are a lot of fun. Or you could do an optional project. And this is the one that I wanted to show you, but made sure that you weren't too overwhelmed at first. So it looks like a lot, doesn't it? But it's really not so much. What it is just taking the skills that we'll learn in this one right here, and the skills that we've learned in this one here, and just going a little bit bigger with it. That's all there is really to it. So if you've been working every bit along the way, practicing your craftsmanship, then hopefully you've brought up your vision to the point where something like this is actually doable, right? But this is optional. You know, yeah, it looks like it took a long time, and it did, right? So it's an optional one. But if you choose to, then just follow the tutorial for this one here. And once you've completed one of these, then you could go ahead and give that one a try. Okay, so we're going to start with these. These are the two different size keys that I used in making my two different examples of this project. One much smaller, one a little bit larger. We even have keys that are a little bit larger than this, but they work the same way. And so the key just shows the profile, and that's how we keep things symmetrical all the way around. So for instance, if I was to make, let's say, using this, I could either make something that was something akin to a vase, like that, you can see. Or I could make something that was much more akin to a bowl. See, much wider. And I could even stop somewhere along the way if I'd liked, let's say, going something like this. But I think that for this one here, I went ahead and made this size right here. I wanted it to go all the way to the top and be about this medium size here, making this vase shape. Then I had to make the bottom part right here. So it didn't really take that much clay. All I did was form it into a circle. You can see it's not a large piece of clay. Then I just made a bowl to match the bottom here. And when I say a bowl, all it really was a flat piece, relatively thick. And you can see these are about a ½ an inch. They're about the same as the sticks that we use when we were making the mugs and the slabs. So I'm going to make a piece, make it about that same thickness. You can see right there, about the same. And then I'm just going to curl up the ends a little bit. And by curling up the ends, what that does is it allows me to put the coils onto this more easily than if it was just a straight corner right here. So smoothing this out. Trying to make it pretty round. I want to give myself a good start here and keeping it nice and thick, as you can see. And does it match this? Well, yeah, at least it comes darn close, right? Okay. And that was just to know, because it can become very deceptive. You think you're making something that's not going to be that big, and you make a base for it, and it turns out being ginormous. Okay. So that's for this one right here. I'll put this aside.